Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question, one that could change everything. The clock isn't the enemy, your calendar isn't the villain. The real battle is between who you've been and who you're willing to become. And the line between the two is drawn by your standards. What if just 1 hour a day could transform your entire life? Not a year, not a decade. The problem with occasional bursts is that they're unsustainable. You sprint for a few days, burn out, and then retreat for weeks. You're hot, then you're cold, you're all in, then you disappear. That pattern doesn't build anything lasting. It builds frustration. You end up stuck in a cycle of starting over, wondering why nothing sticks. 1 hour. We all start our day with the same resource, 24 hours. No one gets extra. No one gets a shortcut. The millionaire, the student, the single mother working 2 jobs, the entrepreneur chasing a vision, the athlete training for greatness. They all wake up with the same ticking clock. So if time is equal for everyone, then why do some people seem to create extraordinary results while others feel like they're constantly falling behind? Most people don't get stuck because they lack time. They get stuck because they tolerate too much mediocrity from themselves. They lower their standards to match their environment instead of raising their standards to match their vision. And when you do that, you're not just wasting time, you're wasting your potential. Some people hear that and roll their eyes. The truth is, people don't rise to their goals, they fall to their standards. If your standard is to get by, then every day will be about survival. But if your standard is excellence, growth, and forward momentum, then you will find a way, even in chaos, to push yourself. You'll find the time. You'll protect it like your life depends on it. Because in a way, it does. Because deep down you already know the truth. Others hear it and wake up. People often say, I just don't have time. But how often is that true? Most of the time it's a mask for saying it's not a priority or I'm not committed enough to change. And let's be honest, there are things in your life you absolutely do make time for. You make time for the drama, you make time for social media, you make time to binge watch, to gossip, to overthink. So it's never been about time. It's about what you're willing to accept from yourself. Your standards dictate how you show up. If you raise your standards, your behavior follows. Think about it. When you absolutely must get something done, no matter what, you do it. No excuses, no distractions. You lock in and make it happen. That's not a matter of discipline or motivation. That's your standard kicking in. You've decided that something is non-negotiable. You're lacking commitment, focus, and a clear decision to make yourself a priority. Now imagine if you brought that level of urgency, that level of commitment to your personal growth every single day. 1 hour, just one. Imagine if you set the standard that every day, no matter what's happening around you, you will spend 1 focused hour building your mind, your body, your future. That's not just a habit. That's a declaration of who you are. You're not lacking time. So today, we're not talking about someday or maybe. We're talking about right now. Because 1 hour a day isn't just a small step. It's the foundation of your next level. Enough is enough. Are you ready? And it starts the moment you decide. Think about water cutting through rock. It's not a flood. It's not a tidal wave. It's a drip. Persistent, consistent, unrelenting. Over time, it reshapes solid stone. That's what consistency does to your mind, your habits, your identity. Every time you show up, you cast a vote for the person you are becoming. And those votes, stacked day after day, create undeniable progress. It's not about time, it's about standards. 1 hour might not sound like much. In a world obsessed with overnight success and instant gratification, an hour can seem small, almost insignificant. But that's exactly where the magic lies. It's not about the length of time, it's about the intensity of intention you bring to it. 1 hour of truly focused, purposeful action has more power to change your life than a week of distracted busyness. The difference between progress and stagnation isn't how long you work, it's how deep you go. Most people live in a state of constant motion but minimal momentum. They're always doing, always busy, but rarely building anything meaningful. Why? Because they're not focused. Their mind is split between the task at hand, notifications, background noise, and 1,000 little distractions that chip away at their presence. And without presence, there is no power. Now think about what happens when you give yourself fully to one thing. When you shut out the world, silence the noise, and bring your full energy, your full mind, your full intention to one purpose. That's when transformation begins. That's when you shift from consuming to creating, from reacting to designing, from wishing to doing. Most people overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do in a year, especially with just one focused hour a day. When that hour becomes a sacred space, untouchable by distractions, uninterrupted by doubt, you begin to separate yourself from the crowd. You begin to master your craft, refine your vision, and build the internal momentum that no one can take from you. Imagine spending 1 hour every day working on something that matters deeply to you. Writing that book, building that business, training your body, rewiring your mindset, learning that language. That's 365 hours a year, over 9 full work weeks of focused creation. That's not a small edge. That's life-changing. That's legacy-defining. Because transformation isn't one big leap. It's not a lightning bolt. It's the compounding power of consistent, focused action. And all it takes to start is 1 hour. The beauty is it's available to everyone. No matter your job, your background, your challenges, you can carve out 1 hour. You can choose to make it count. And that one choice, made daily, repeated with intensity, becomes the foundation of transformation. Anyone can be great for a day. Anyone can wake up fired up, hit the gym once, read a book once, make a bold move once. But true growth, true transformation, that's reserved for the people who show up again and again, long after the excitement wears off. But it only works if you're all in. This isn't about clocking time. It's about entering the zone where nothing else exists but the task, the growth, the goal. That hour becomes a training ground not just for skill, but for discipline, for clarity, for belief. You start seeing results not just because of what you're doing, but because of who you're becoming in the process. There's a myth that success is about massive, explosive action. That if you want to change your life, you have to flip everything upside down overnight. But that's not how it works. Real results come from showing up when it's boring, showing up when you're tired, showing up when no one is clapping and nothing seems to be changing. That's the test. And most people fail it, not because they aren't capable, but because they rely on emotion instead of discipline. Consistency is the edge. It's the quiet force that separates the dreamers from the doers. It doesn't ask for perfection, it asks for commitment. You don't need to do everything. You just need to do something, daily, steadily, relentlessly. Because small actions, repeated over time, create powerful momentum. It's not about how long you're there, it's about who you are when you're there. And those bricks matter, even when they're imperfect, even when they're messy. Because the compound effect is real. One workout won't change your body. 1 hour won't change your business. But 1 hour a day, stacked over months, that builds mastery. That builds belief. That builds a new reality. But when you make consistency your standard, not your mood, but your standard, you shift everything. The gym isn't something you do when you feel like it. It's who you are. Reading, creating, building. It's no longer a task, it's part of your identity. You don't negotiate with your goals every morning. You just do the work. You trust the process. You lay another brick. Because in the end, you don't become successful by doing something once. Momentum loves consistency. Progress rewards discipline. The person who keeps showing up, no matter what, will always outlast and outperform the one who only shows up when it's convenient. It's not the intensity that builds greatness. It's the repetition. You've seen it. Someone spends an entire day at the gym, distracted, checking their phone between every set, going through the motions. Another person walks in, hits their workout with fire and intensity, and leaves 45 minutes later soaked in sweat and laser focused. Who's getting more out of that time? This principle applies to every area of life, in your career, in your relationships, in your growth. It's not just your time that creates results, it's your presence, it's your standard, it's how you show up when you're in it. Because if you're half in, you're already out. If you're just checking boxes, going through the motions, waiting for time to pass, then you're not building anything. You're stalling. People love to talk about time. They say things like, I worked for 8 hours today, or I spent all weekend on that project. But let's be honest, time means nothing without energy, presence, and intensity. You can sit in a room for 10 hours and get nothing done. Or you can show up for 1 hour with full intention, full focus, and full commitment and make a breakthrough that changes everything. We've all been guilty of it. Sitting in meetings but not really contributing. Reading books but not absorbing a word. Spending time with people we love but being mentally miles away. And then we wonder why we don't feel connected, why we don't feel progress, why we're stuck. It's because showing up isn't enough. You have to engage. That's what changes everything. Showing up with energy, with hunger, with commitment. Owning your space. Demanding more from yourself in the minutes you have instead of waiting for more time to magically appear. Because if you can bring your full self for even 30 minutes, fully locked in and purposeful, that will always beat a distracted, unfocused effort stretched across hours. You have to bring your intensity to the moment. Whether it's 1 hour of deep work, one workout, one conversation with someone who matters to you, when you bring your full presence, it has power. That's when the real shift happens. That's when people remember you. That's when your brain starts rewiring, your skills start sharpening, and your life starts to transform. Because 1 hour of your full attention is worth more than 10 hours of distraction. And the world doesn't reward people who are just there. It rewards people who are all in. The question you should be asking isn't how much time will this take? It's how am I going to show up when I get there? Are you going to show up with power, with purpose, with presence, or are you going to coast? You don't meet your future self in some distant year. You build that person right now in this moment with every single decision you make. That future version of you, the one who's stronger, wiser, wealthier, healthier, more fulfilled, doesn't appear by accident. That person is the result of the standards you hold today. It's easy to dream about who you want to become. That's the fun part. The vision board, the goals, the declarations. But the truth? Your future isn't built by dreams. It's built by discipline. And discipline doesn't happen in the future. It happens in the now. The present moment is where all transformation begins. This is the training ground. This is where you face resistance, face your doubts, and rise anyway. This is where you say, no more waiting, no more excuses. I build my future now. Look at your habits, those tiny decisions you make every day. They might not seem like much in the moment. Skipping one workout, scrolling for 30 minutes, putting off the thing you know you should be doing. But every one of those choices is a vote, a quiet but powerful signal to your future self. This is who I am. Every time you choose focus over distraction, growth over comfort, action over excuses, you are casting a vote for who you're becoming. You're not just checking off a task. You're shaping your identity. You're wiring your brain. You're laying the bricks for the life you say you want. That's what people miss. They wait for a better time, a more perfect day, a clearer path, but the only time that ever has power is now. Every great life is built in moments just like this second, this choice, this breath. Because the future is not a place you go to, it's a person you grow into. And it starts in the present. So if you want to become more, you must give more now. Not when it's easy, not when it's convenient, but when it's inconvenient, when it's uncomfortable. Because that's when it counts most. That's when the foundation is being poured. Your future self isn't shaped by some big moment in 5 years. It's shaped by what you do in 5 minutes when no one's watching. It's shaped by how you respond to pressure today, how you choose to treat your body, your mind, your relationships today. That's the raw material of who you'll become. And it goes the other way too. When you show up even in small ways, reading 10 pages, making the uncomfortable phone call, waking up early, speaking truth when it's hard, you are building resilience. You are building belief. You are building proof that you can trust yourself. That's the currency of transformation. That's what gives your future self strength to stand on.